What's up, good people? Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. Hey, it's your boy Tommie here.
And I'm Lance. And today we're opening up about something every man, soldier, and husband faces failure.
There it is. That word scares a lot of people.
It sure does.
But the truth is, failure has probably taught us more than success ever did. So today, we're talking about the moments we fell short and how those moments built us into who we are today.
Yep. So, hey, let's get into it.
What's the first major failure you remember that actually shaped you? We're talking like something that hit hard but later became part of your growth.
You have all of those, growing up, but as an adult, and and in my profession was probably whenever I was a brand new nurse.
Okay.
I was working in the emergency room, and one thing that nurses will tell you, older nurses, that are seasoned, is like, especially starting off, is to look up your medication. Look up your medication. Learn that in school. Look up your medication before you, give them to your patients and
okay.
stuff. So I've been on the job probably a good 6, 7 months. So I was, doing it every time. Get the order, go in, look it up. Yep, that's the correct way to do that.
Right.
So one night, Doc gave me the meds, and I was like, I've given this before. I'm thinking I've given it before. I saw the medication, recognized it, but didn't necessarily recognize the route
Right.
that it was supposed to go.
Okay.
Got the medication, didn't look it up.
Just took the word of the
Yeah,
doc.
took the word of the doc,
Uh-huh.
which shouldn't have done.
Right.
Shouldn't have done that. Should have kept with my same routine.
Uh-huh.
But we had patients there, so we were trying to get to the next
Right.
get to the next patient.
Using the ER. Yeah.
Yeah. So gave it, wasn't feeling good about it. I was like, so I went back, looked it up. Can't give it that. Not recommended or whatever to give it that way.
Oh.
So I went back, told the doc, was like, dude, you had me give it
The wrong way.
Yeah, the order said give this way, and it wasn't. And I, shouldn't have given it. I should have given it this way or whatever. He's like, and the doc was like, oh, it's fine. But the whole time the patient was in the, in the department, in a bed,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there like,
Scared to death.
yeah, something's gonna happen to this person because I gave him this medication. In the wrong route, but the patient ended up being okay. But that's one of those things where it was like, that jacked me up, and I had other patients I still had to take care of, so it could have been a domino effect of mistake after mistake after mistake because I'm worried about the first thing
Right.
because I didn't follow a procedure I know that I knew was the correct way about doing that. So but never had to worry about that again. And after that,
It wasn't a mistake you made again.
yeah, never. And it helped me to also not be afraid to speak up because it's like you never. Being brand new, brand new nurse, not fully confident in all of my skills and knowledge, about being in the area. Didn't want to question a doctor, who's been there, been a doctor for, can't remember how long. He was an older guy, so he had been doing it for a while.
You'd think he'd know.
Yeah, and he's not trying to set anybody up for failure, but
It's just a mistake.
it happens. Yeah, it happens. But it helped me to
Tighten
be
up.
able to question. Well, that and not be afraid to
to voice
question,
your opinion.
and whatever the repercussions or whatever. It's like, okay, I'm just trying to make sure, that's because that's the way that I felt after that happened to me. And if anytime I question or ask somebody something else after they say, I'm like, are you sure, or blah blah blah, or especially if I go look it up and it says this, and I'll be like, nah, I'm not giving it that way. You can do it that way if you want to, but that's not the way. But yeah, that's one I had. probably got a few that I could tell. I mean, another another big one dealing with, especially my professional thing, is when I was, and that was, was I captain by then or first lieutenant? I think I was first lieutenant. I was almost a captain. I think I was about to get promoted to captain. New assignment. I was at up at Fort Lewis, up at Madigan.
Okay.
I was in the heart room. I was a brand new heart nurse. I mean, so that's a specialty that you learn, and it's a lot of different things going on there, and different steps and all that stuff. So I was new in there, learning. They have a part at the case, where the doc wants to listen to see if his graphs are working properly. So he listens with the ultrasound.
Okay.
You're supposed to put up some sterile ultrasound fluid, gel.
Okay.
It's supposed to be sterile because
Right.
he's in an open
wound.
heart.
Yeah, right,
Open heart. I put stuff up there, took it from the thing, put it up there. Didn't read the thing till after I put it up there. Look, that bottle that I squirted stuff out wasn't sterile.
Oh Lord.
He had already.
Oh Lord.
So I had to. Yeah. So that's another one where it was like, what the hell are you doing? But never had to worry about that again because I was always ripping open the packages, to make sure and got them on there. But it's just one of those things where it's just like slow down. That's another thing. Just taught me slow down.
Yeah.
Look at the situation, read, make sure, because you always have time to double check.
Right.
A lot of stuff.
Right.
Because unless it's one of those situations, where we're deployed and it doesn't matter because you need to take care. It's life, limb, eyesight. Somebody's about to die or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you have time to, especially in a controlled environment, to
Not
check,
rush.
double check, make sure. So you don't come. But so that taught me a lot in my, because I was young,
Right.
and learning still. So those incidents made me a much better nurse in the end. So.
And lucky.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Because it could have been
Yes.
so much worse. Woo.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's I feel extremely lucky and fortunate that nothing bad happened to any of those,
to
either
the
one of those
patients,
patients.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
Yep. What about you?
Jeez. I think that's the podcast right there. So mine, I'll say this, right? Before we joined, the Army was a lot more forgiving.
Right.
When we joined, the Army started, it was slowly evolving into a gotcha type of thing. Because when I was young, I'm talking specialist, like I got into a fight. And it was legit fight because we had, me and my boy, we had parked. He was driving in his car, and the Joker is sitting next to her, just opened the door, just blam. And we had just gotten back from Bosnia, and so we was already hyped. All we did was lift over there.
Y'all
So,
swole,
yeah.
coming back all swole.
And it was people that we've had problems with before, and so ended up getting to a fight. And the company commander was a little lenient on us, right? He gave us a little bit of a problem, less of a problem, and so because that right there could have derailed my career.
Oh, yeah.
And because commanders have had over my career had less and less authority, company commanders, less and less authority to squash stuff. So that was one example. Another example of when I was in Bosnia, speaking of Bosnia, we were, so the team that I had, it was me and two other soldiers. We were away
Mm-hmm.
from where the actual unit was. We were in the motor pool, and the motor pool was away. So during the day, there was people around because they were in the motor pool. But
Right.
mostly during the night, everybody was back on the home base, Camp Harmon. And one day, there was a water buffalo. We had a water buffalo out there for us to drink from. And whoever set it up didn't set it up right. So the wheel leg fell down and like it was on its knee, right? So it wasn't all the way up. And there was this sergeant, I don't know who he was. I can't remember who he was. I think he was brigade sergeant major or whatever, but he was going around doing his checks in Humvee. And that joker was just driving by, right? And so since it was kneeling, and you remember water buffalo when it's full,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible for a
Right.
human to lift it up.
Right.
But once again, hey, I feel myself along with my boy. So we out there, and we're in. So in Bosnia, truth be told, most of the time our uniform was wet weather gear, and then we have our polypros underneath it. We hardly ever in full uniform, right? Uh, Reason being, one was because we had limited uniforms,
Uniform.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, and washing capabilities. And then secondly, uh, it was just you sitting there walking like a snowman if you have your uniform on and all that stuff, right? So that was our quick fix. And we found out that the water buffalo was down like that. So it was basically kneeling. Uh, they didn't secure the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my soldiers' name was Clark. He was a big dude. He was bigger than me actually. And so We're out there in our polypros and our wet weather gear
Mm-hmm.
with our wet weather boots on, right? So from the outside looking in, we're soldiering, right? And so this daggone sergeant major's freaking drunk, fooling around, and we found out that the thing fell. So we're like, you know what? We might be able to get this, the two of us. So we out there with no gloves on, no headgear on, no beanie on, no
Oh,
neck
shit.
gaiter. We just out there
In
with
elements.
our polypro zipped all the way in the cold, snow cold.
Oh.
It was January in Bosnia, in Croatia actually.
Mm.
So we're out there trying our best to pick this thing up. Like, oh, come on. Just couldn't get it. Like, come on, we can do it. Because, between the two of us, we could deadlift easily over 1,000 pounds between the two of us. So
Shit.
we were just like thinking we got it. We weren't even thinking about the cold and metal thing with
Hell
your
no,
hands.
yeah. Oh.
So this daggone sergeant major drives up, and his driver takes him in a circle so that the passenger side window is on our side, and it's in one of those MP Humvees,
Uh,
uh, the ones that look more tactical than the other ones. But anyway, that joker rolled down that daggone window, and he was like, "Who's in charge?" And she was like, "Who the heck is this?" Because we saw the Humvee pull up, we just didn't think about it. And he said, "God, blah, 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 cousin, who's in charge?" And I was like, I turned around, I was like, I am. He said, "What's your name?" "Private what?" I said, "No, specialist, no. What's your name?" "Private what?" I said, "No,
oh.
specialist promotable." He's like, "You can't be a specialist promotable because your dumb butt wouldn't be out here with your freaking no gloves on trying to pick up a metal." He was just going off on me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, man. So it was embarrassing, it was humiliating, and it was another example of the sergeant major clowned me, but he didn't destroy me. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have.
Could have been
We were
private.
technically in a combat environment. What? And so he didn't go and tell on Specialist Promotable Jones. He went and said, "How about I saw a soldier today?" You know what I'm saying? That's the story. And so So that's another example of me being taken care of by somebody, but also not feeling that way in the moment.
So you go back and look at it. It's
Yeah,
like,
100%.
okay,
Yeah,
shit, that's
but
right.
I promise you, in those two cases, hey, I never fought in a open spot again.
Uh,
Never. And then my fighting did slim down, but I absolutely tried my best to never be out of uniform again. And that's something that stuck to me all the way up till I retired.
okay.
Always being in the right uniform, So that was the takeaway. But I'll go back to say that the uh, the unforgiveness of the Army as it changed, um, that's it's understandable in some cases when you're talking about DUIs
Mm-hmm.
and accidents where people could be killed and stuff
Right.
like that. I get it.
Yeah, some things are no
Yeah,
question. I mean, that's a no brainer.
yeah, but like some of those uh, some of those issues, like fighting, some of those issues where NCO uh, gets a bad report card, NCOER, and it's a combination of poor leadership as well as soldier didn't know any
Mm-hmm.
better when it comes to report cards and stuff like that. That's just, it's sad that people get handled like
Get
that.
crucified.
Yeah, that's sad.
Instead of looking at some of that stuff and using it as a teaching
Yeah, and letting them
moment.
grow
Yeah.
from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact it's taken out of people's hands now,
Yeah.
so it's
I think
crazy.
that can be more dangerous sometimes than allowing
Absolutely,
folks to fail.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And you lose talent,
yep.
So
Yep.
you think you get people progressing up the ranks thinking that, they walk on water because they
Mm-hmm.
made it and saw so many other people get deterred, maybe because of actions of their own. But yeah, that makes leaders holier than thou instead
Okay.
of understanding and relatable.
All right. That's helps roll into this next question. In the military, we talk a lot about learning through friction.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time in your career when failure forced you to change how you led or how you saw yourself as a leader?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason I was hesitant is because the more rank you make, the less you're allowed to have a big mistake. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? The more senior leader you become, the mistakes you make are, instead of just being a bump in the road, they become fault lines moving and earthquakes happening. So I'd say that, but
Well, they're a lot more
yeah,
visible than
yeah,
just
that's why I
broadcasted.
say yeah,
Yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about them instead of just a speed bump. Um, I'll say so. I was a drill sergeant, um, and I was coming up on finishing my third year on the trail,
Mm-hmm.
and the sergeant major at the time, he just came in, and he asked me to do another year because he had heard about me on the trail before he came in, and he wanted to start his uh, assignment as the CSM of the battalion
Mm-hmm.
with me there, um, to sort of to keep the waters level, because when you lose drill sergeant talent, it becomes a hope thing instead of I know I got me a ace. You have to hope that you can find a competent and potentially good to great drill sergeant.
Yep.
So, but anyway, one of what he did to help me consider if I do a 4 year was he was offering me all the schools that if I would have taken them. He offered me sapper school, he offered me airborne school, and he offered me ranger school. And I was drill sergeant at Fort Leonard Wood, and I had a couple battle buddies, a couple drill sergeants that were in my unit. They were uh, 12 Bravos at the time. That's what combat engineers were. And they were hyping me up. It was like, man, you got to do it. Because one of the two was a sapper. Um, and he was actually one of the original tabbed sappers, because when he went to sapper school, it wasn't such a big thing. It was,
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't even a tab in the beginning. The engineers just did it. Yeah. So he wasn't one of the originals, because the originals like World War II and all that stuff. But he was one of the sappers before the tab. But anyway, so I was like, you know what? I always felt I was an athlete, and I also always felt that if, the Army's base of grading is at a minimal average. So that's how I looked at schools. I was like, I mean, I can, if somebody can pass it, I feel I
Right.
can
Can
pass it.
do it. Yeah.
So so I was like, okay, let's start getting it for sapper school. And the only thing I didn't train for is the one thing that just completely jacked me up, and that was the lack of sleep. Yeah, I didn't train for that.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and so that
It's hard to train for that
oh my
though.
God, and it once you're put in those situations, it's hard to be level headed, man. Yeah, especially when you're exhausted. So went through the school. The first day we signed in, it was real easy. It was accountability,
Hmm.
finding out where your barracks room was going to be, and where your bunk's going to be, and getting your stuff squared away, because you had room inspections. So everything was uh, easy. That very next morning, PT test, or the very next morning, wake up, PT, physical training. We did a 6 mile run, and it was timed, and it was on Fort Leonard Wood. And if you know anything about Fort Leonard Wood, there's hills for days.
Yep. Ozarks.
Oh my God. And so I did the run, but I was outside of the timed window. So I got demerits for that, right? So I'm like, oh my God. Because I was never a distance runner, man. I hate running distance. I've never done the Army 10 miler, ever,
I haven't either.
and never thought about it. So, but anyway, uh, did that, and then just started going through the course. It's like a 30-day course, and each day becomes harder and harder. You get evaluated in leadership and accomplishment of certain tasks. You like knots and rappelling and stuff like that, right? Which was okay. I was okay with. So I was at that time, when you went to cyber school, there was a minimum that you could do, and you could get the card, but you couldn't
Hmm.
wear the tab.
Okay.
Okay, and then there was meet the course standards, and you get the certificate and the tab, and it goes to HRC, and you're
Okay.
authorized to wear it. So, so I'm just sitting there trying to figure out. Remember, well, if you don't know, Sapper School it's basically a shortened Ranger School for engineers, right? Um, and there are a lot of similarities to Ranger School when it comes to the leadership training. We're talking like ambushes and forced marches and all that stuff, right? And then there's engineer specific tasks, that you do when it comes to blowing doors, using C4,
Hmm.
to uh, to help breach, burn, blowing up minefields, stuff like that, right? So, a great school, great school. So I'm on my way, struggling because every day is less sleep,
Hmm.
because you have to study, and you have to be prepared for the next day, which is something that I was cool with. But in the school, I was taking a lot of L's to my ego specifically. Um, and then we also had a combatives tournament and all that stuff. So, which I won, by the way. Um, That's the one L I didn't take. We went to, we started our, at the end of the course, you do like a 10-day field problem.
Mm-hmm.
And during that field problem, you get evaluated for leadership, you get evaluated for
Everything that
tactics.
you
Absolutely.
learn, everything that you went
Absolutely.
through.
And this 10-day field problem, I am not kidding at all. In those 10 days, I slept a total of 4 hours. I have never been sleep
So
deprived
how'd
like
you know
that
where you
before.
were?
Oh my God.
That's
There were times I didn't, man. There were times we were rucking, moving on to the next exercise,
mm-hmm.
right? And I swear I could see like purple bunny rabbits just hopping around with human faces. there
Oh
was one
shoot.
time I was ruck marching, and I swear that there was a concert stage set up, and they was jamming, and I'm like, what in the world? Because you got to remember, you're marching with your uh, night optical devices on when you need to, and it was cold because it was in December in Fort Leonard Wood, which means snow. Sometimes snow not, but cold all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was physically and mentally exhausting. Yeah. And so there was one night we were doing a night raid, and I honestly remember not knowing where I was, then
Mm-hmm.
trying to find somebody to tell me where I was. So, and I'm not asking for anybody to feel sad for me. I'm talking about a failure. And so we were on our way. We were rucking to our last objective, and it was a final assault. And we had just finished. We did a buddy litter rappel. So uh, we had to put one of our battle buddies inside of one of those litters,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to tie them up properly because we got test graded on that,
Right.
and then we got graded rappelling down the mountain. It was probably about 30 or 40 foot drop, and did it successfully. But um, one thing you learn is to always tie stuff to yourself so you
So you
never
don't lose
lose
it.
equipment. Yeah,
Okay.
it's called a dummy cord, right? And the dummy cord that I had attached to my belt, a loop, right,
Okay.
uh, was tied to my weapon. So worst case scenario, if I start walking and my weapon's leaning up against something, it'll drag, and I'm like, oh snap, my weapon. You won't leave it, because one thing you can't do is leave your weapon because you're now no longer able to be in the fight. So we're marching and we're at a controlled halt. Uh, so we take a knee and we move to cover. And so I'm right by a tree. But while I'm by a tree, I lean my weapon up against the tree.
This is at
And
night, right?
this is on like day 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like 2 in the morning, man. So I'm probably there for maybe 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute. I can't remember. But all of a sudden, we get the hand and arm signals for us to, prep and then get up and let's go. So get up, make sure I got make sure my stuff's fastened, my
Mm-hmm.
ruck and everything's fastened. And then I'm like, I'm ready. And then we get the hand and arm signal to move forward, start moving. And there's one thing I didn't move with that I didn't even know I left. Uh, was my weapon leaned up against the car, against the my M16 leaned up against the tree, and we had walked probably for about they let us walk for about 3 minutes, and right before they stopped, I was like, oh my God, my weapon, because I'm walking like I'm holding my weapon, but I didn't have it. And so yeah, so I'm like, I start panicking, and I tell my squad leader at the time, I was like, hey, I ain't got my weapon. So he halts, and then right when I start to go back to get it, the instructor's standing there with my weapon, man. And you leave your weapon, that's a major safety, and you're kicked out of the course. So I know it's a long story, but it broke my pride.
Ooh.
Because I had to go back to my company, a drill sergeant company, who have infantrymen, who have combat engineers, who are tabbed out, who have rows on rows on rows stacked. But I got rolled, man, and I couldn't. So usually they will hold you till the next class,
Right.
but it was December.
You
And
recycle
they
you to the next.
yeah, and they had the holiday break, and it wasn't going to start till 1 February, and then I was scheduled to leave in March, the end of March, and I was just like, I'm gonna come back. Never went
Didn't
back.
happen.
Yeah, so it's a failure in the sense of my intentions were to go there and pass the
Right.
school, all right, and then it's another failure to where I didn't follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? And then the biggest failure is something that you hear everywhere you go. You don't leave your weapon anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's major violation in the Army world. And I couldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I can say, well, no, I left it because I untied it. You know what I'm saying? So lessons learned are all over the place. You know, attention to detail, following the rules, knowing the rules. Another thing it helped me do is from now on, whatever school I went to, before I got there, I read and understood what was expected of me. You know, for instance, like battle staff and then other schools I went to, but it was ego check beyond belief.
I bet.
But I learned so much about basic infantry. I learned so much about the what a combat engineer is, the history of it, and all that stuff. But
Give you a greater appreciation for what those guys do.
well, not just that, but it also just made me a better, knowledgeable soldier and leader. You know what I'm saying? To where I could, for a second, I shared space in a place that most basic soldiers would never get to go to. You know what I'm saying?
So even though you didn't get the tab, it still made you
Oh,
better.
absolutely. Made me better. It made me understand defense, made me understand tactical patrols, made me understand, like I said, basic infantry
Yeah,
skills
I can see that.
that home. But it
Yeah,
was
I can see that.
it was a huge failure.
I can see.
And something that I always, it's one of those things that I can't believe I failed it. I can't believe it's not in my records. Can't believe I didn't earn that tab. But I also have the reason why. And you look in the mirror and it's you. So, all right. A lot of men, especially veterans, struggle with the ego side of failure, feeling like we let someone down. Exactly what I just said. So, how do you personally manage that time between accountability and self-forgiveness?
It was hard. I mean, being when I was younger is hard.
Yeah,
I mean, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
As I got older,
you don't have the wisdom.
yeah, yes, I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, as I got older, it was one of those things where it was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's keep. I mean, because it's like you know that you have a mission, you know that you have to, complete a task, or so it's like, okay, we're gonna go to the left a little bit, then we'll keep on,
Yeah.
But and then at the end, you go, okay, what could I have done better? I mean, because that was always with me a lot of, especially as I got older, jobs got bigger. I mean, you second guess yourself on things, and you always think, man, how
'Cause
could
you
I
don't
have done
know
that better?
everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's always one of those things where it was like, man, I wonder if I could have handled that better. I wonder if I would have said this,
Yeah.
or had people do this instead of
Right.
that, how would that have turned out? But I mean, as long as my whole goal was, as long as people were safe, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people got through things, we were good. But yeah, I mean, when I was younger, it was just, again, like I was talking about earlier, my mistakes that I had, I mean, were because I was going 100 miles an hour and not looking back until I was way past that point of,
You're right.
dang, I done messed up. What did
Yeah.
you know, and then trying to backtrack things like that. You know, it's just getting older, getting more mature, understanding jobs, environments, what other folks were doing. Because I mean, I understand big time what you're talking about as far as learning what you know, the infantry guys are doing, what the engineer guys are doing. Because when you're out in a deployed setting or a joint setting or something, if you know what those guys are doing, you can it helps you to lead your element or your, you know, your area a lot better, or how you can help that, you know,
fit
those
into
individuals,
the puzzle better,
where you get in and you can say, yep, this is what we're doing, you know, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to contribute to this, or we need to do this, or helps you to be able to ask questions that are relevant, you know,
instead of
make sense, you know, instead of like things where they look at
first
you like,
question,
what's wrong
so
with you?
what do you all do?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, for men, it's just you. I mean, you never. I mean, no one ever wants to fail. I don't care who you are. I mean, male, female, whatever. I mean, nobody ever wants to fail. And when you do fail, I mean, if you can't bounce back from it or try to pull the positives out of that, you'll continue to
drown.
To go down that spiral, down that toilet. So
100%. And I will say this: you got to remember that the military is a macho world. First off, and so you, men, women alike, you end up taking on that mantra if it's not already in you. So ego is huge in the military, and that, I mean, especially in those that are considered successful in the military. So when you fail, it's a huge thing, because once again, everybody knows you're doing something, right? So if we're talking about schools, when you leave your unit, everybody knows you're going to a school. So if you come back a failure, first off, you're going to the bottom of the list, first off. Secondly, people are looking at you differently, right? And then thirdly, you lose some of your stance, you know what I mean, in the unit. So that's a huge thing. And then the biggest letdown is you feel like you failed yourself before everybody else, unless, of course, dire effects, right? So for instance, say you're on a mission or a task and people end up getting hurt or killed.
Right.
That's where it is. But I say all that to say this: the military, the intent of the military is to practice until you're as close to perfect as possible. Now, you don't always get the right amount of time to practice, so you have to have that ability to not just follow the rules and learn the rules step by step, but you got to understand what the end state is, and then you have to be able to figure out what it takes to get there.
You want to be able to react appropriately to whatever the situation is, because every situation is not going to be a textbook.
Exactly.
I mean, it would be great if it was, because it would make it a lot easier, but you got to be able to pivot and make the correct decisions.
Accomplishment and save lives.
Exactly.
And see, the difference between you and I is the steps you had to follow were life or death, because those are procedures.
They were sometimes.
So, and my the decisions I made in just basic Army life, was uh, formations, training, stuff like that that weren't so lockstep that I had the ability to. Uh,
I hear you because
uh,
those are basics you're talking about, but those turn into
yeah,
life and death whenever you're
true.
deployed or you're out on some of those live
Or the
training
future of the
exercises.
soldiers you're training. Yeah,
Yes, I mean, so
yeah,
if they don't do those things
yeah, yeah.
correctly and appropriately and the same all the time,
Right.
it's not going to translate when you really want it
True.
to be put into effect. So
You're right.
yeah,
And you train so that you fail,
hmm
so that you won't fail.
right. So you learn. I mean, you
Yeah,
learn. That's how, I
learn
mean,
and grow.
that's how you learn.
Yeah, and that's how you personally manage it, right? So
Yep.
you have to, first off, as a leader, you have to be accountable.
Yep.
You cannot pass the blame.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? If you're the leader and you're in charge, everything that comes out of your element, right, that you're in charge of, is your fault, whether
Right.
it's positive or negative.
Right.
You have to be that way. And so if you can understand that, then you can train your soldiers
Yeah.
to understand why their part in this puzzle is so important.
Right.
And that helps them be better soldiers and leaders, and helps you become a better leader
Yeah. I
and
mean,
soldier.
it does. I mean, and this sounds.
Basic.
Yeah, and it might not sound good, but you got to be as a leader, and depending on what you're doing, you got to be okay with some failure.
And that's
You
the
got to be
second part of
okay
that.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to forgive yourself
Yep.
for failures, because if you don't, then you'll never be able to
No.
learn, you'll never be able to move on, and you definitely won't
You
be
won't be
able
able
to
to
grow.
operate. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't do anything. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to be okay with it. You got to let your people know
Yeah.
that. Now, when it starts to be a repetitive, I mean, that's the way that I used to go at it. Is like, okay, I mean, we're gonna fail. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Mhm.
But we can't be doing the same
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
over
Failing
and
the same
said
way.
that's a problem. You know, that's something else is going on
I
right
agree.
there.
I agree.
But I understand because it happens. We are human.
And
know?
you have to admit it.
Yes.
Don't try to cover it
Yes.
up.
Yes.
Admit it. Let your bosses know
Yes.
that this is on me. And then also, don't just say it was me, but say it was me and this is what happened, to let them know that you diagnosed the problem that
Yep.
you failed on, and you
This is what we're
understand
gonna
now.
do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is what we plan on doing
Yes,
to
yeah.
give them a chance to go.
Absolutely.
Well,
And people don't understand that's a part of accountability.
Yep.
Just because you own up to something does not mean that you're accountable for it. Because if you're accountable for it, you're starting to diagnose how it went wrong,
Yep.
why it went wrong, and like he said, how it'll never go wrong again.
how can
on
I
that
improve
one.
that? Yeah.
And I know that the Army is, like I said, less forgiving now. I don't know how much more since I got out, but I do know that it became a gotcha type of Army, and that makes people even more fearful
It's
of
dangerous.
making mistakes.
Yeah, that's real dangerous because I can tell you, it's super dangerous in
Yeah.
the area, the field where I work.
Because hesitation is just as bad as failure.
Yeah, I mean, well, that and then if people are hiding
Yeah.
and not telling what if
Yeah.
their mistakes
Covering
and
up
things that
stuff.
are going on,
Yeah.
that just cascades into
Huge
how did this?
problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then you have the investigations
Yeah.
that because they'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll find. I mean, especially with how all of the charting, the computer chart is like once that stuff is in the
Yeah.
computer,
You can track it.
it's in there, buddy. So,
In the same way with once you mess up in the field, Jay, it's easy to find out what happened,
you know,
because somebody's going to tell the truth.
Yep.
So, but it's simple. It's possible that you're going to fail,
Mhm.
because nobody's perfect.
Nope.
But you can train and prepare yourself to make fewer mistakes.
Yep.
And then once you train and prepare yourself, the mistakes that you do make, because you're prepared, aren't life threatening.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They are simple or you're quick enough to catch it before
Right.
it becomes that.
Hey, it's where you need to tweak something.
Yeah.
You gotta rehearse. You
Yeah.
gotta train. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it's for. So
Commit. That's the word I was trying to.
there
You
it is.
have to commit to being a good and great leader,
Yep.
so that you can learn and lead
Yep.
effectively.
All right. Yep. All right. Looking back, have you ever realized that one of your biggest professional setbacks actually protected you or redirected you towards something better?
Well, I could just go back to Sapper School. I ended up not, of course, getting the tab.
Mm-hmm.
Then I ended up going back to my job to Augusta, Georgia, my transportation job, and then ended up deploying to Iraq. And then when I came back, I made the E8 list.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to Campbell to make to be a first sergeant. So even though I didn't get the tab, being able to take a line
Mm-hmm.
transportation company that is responsible for combat resupply, responsible for security of convoys,
Mm-hmm.
responsible for tactical and infantry basics, I'm able to present and train my soldiers or evaluate my soldiers to make sure that they're competent when we're out there on the road. So even though I failed and didn't get what I learned in those 30 days, especially when it came to sleep deprivation, man, I could tell you so many more stories. I had a battle buddy. We was in school. I had a battle buddy. We were sitting around a fire, and we were cold in a mug. That joker's boots caught on fire, and he didn't know it. I'm talking the rubber soles of his boots was. We were all sitting around like, what's that
Smell like
smell?
rubber
Something's on
burning,
fire.
yeah.
And the dude's sitting right next to me, and he is asleep. And we're like, oh my God, we pulled him back and then put a dirt, because there was dirt on the ground. We threw dirt on his boots. That joke was like, what's going on? That joker's feet was on fire. You know what I'm saying? That sleep deprivation is real, real.
Shoot.
But I don't. I can say that I don't remember making such a huge error that it stalled my career
Mm-hmm.
and made me have to reevaluate or redirect.
Right.
Right. So
No,
I don't.
I absolutely understand that, because
Yeah.
I can't think of a moment that was that big
Yeah.
where I was just like, oh,
Yeah. Like,
it just stopped me. I mean, I
this is
had
horrible.
moments, especially early, like
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
where it was. I mean, I failed because I didn't follow a process to the
Right.
how I should,
Right.
have. I mean, so I learned from those
Right.
and tried to take it on to the
Right.
next thing, and
Right.
just, I mean, so by the
Improve.
time that I was
Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel.
lieutenant colonel,
Yeah.
senior, I mean, it was like,
It was already in
yeah,
your
I
muscle
knew those
memory,
things.
like
So
you
a
said.
lot of things were just it started turning into, okay, was that the right decision?
Yeah.
Is that the right decision
Yeah.
for that? Is that the right action for
But
that? Or
still,
this
when you
was-
were planning that or when you were making those moves, they were educated.
yeah,
So it was
yeah, absolutely.
the doubt that you had was less of because you didn't know,
No,
but
it
more
was
of just
more
the
of
path.
you would just want it to be
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, you just want it to be better. It's
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
regardless of how good it is, it's always one of those things where it's like,
Exactly.
I know it could have
Yeah.
been better. I mean, it could have
Yeah.
been smoother than that.
Yeah.
It could have been better. Than
No,
that. I know we could
exactly.
have. I mean, but yeah, you just want it to be.
Perfect.
Yes, you want it to be
You
right.
have
on
to be.
time.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
and that's another issue with the ego, because when you start being good, of course it's going to add to your ego.
Yeah.
And then if you have one of those personalities where you always want to win, because one of the mantras I had coming up as a sergeant major is, hey, if you're not doing it to win, then what are you doing it for?
Well, I mean, think about by that time you have a reputation. I mean, so folks
100%.
know
And the
you're
expectation,
coming.
yeah.
People want you
Yeah.
coming there. So then it's like, okay, I
We're
gotta.
expecting big things from
Yeah, you
you.
know, it's like, okay, I gotta.
You can't slip up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I gotta come correct. So
I can't think of a major
I mean,
incident.
and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Especially
absolutely
in
thankful for
combat.
that.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of combat. Um, but I don't. I mean, we've had equipment go down, but our maintenance was square.
right.
We even had our maintenance truck go down, but we were still square. Um, we we've come and you know come upon IEDs where we our scout vehicle saw them in time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there is just first off, there's luck with anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pinch of luck with everything. All right, you can say God, whatever. We just say luck. There's a pinch of that with everything, but no, never had major training. Nothing that really just like set everything
It
back.
stalled
Yeah,
everything where it was
yeah.
like, ooh,
So, and you were saying,
yeah,
yeah.
thank
Um,
goodness.
and I will say this: if you do learn as you evolve and as you progress, then you fully understand that the moment you open your mouth, you're affecting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So my last job, I was the school sergeant major. So if I made a decision about something, and started it through the op board as well as through the NCO communication chain, uh, I could completely change the momentum of something that's going on, and with you
Right.
and in charge of all the nurses or in charge of just all the stuff that you were doing, especially at full bird level,
Mm-hmm.
you 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 start to really realize that, and then that even makes you more
Yeah, and
careful. Is
people
what I
take
was
your
trying to say.
word for
Yeah, God,
that's fact.
the voice
Yeah.
of, yeah. So when you think about your life now, Lance,
Mm-hmm.
husband, father, veteran man,
Yeah.
uh, black man with color,
Mm-hmm.
how do you define success after you've lived through and learned from failure? Because I know
I mean, what
success has changed from what you thought it was, from Butter Bar Lieutenant Taylor to
it's the
now retired.
it's the pursuit of feeling. Oh, I gotta go do this, or if I don't do this, I'm not gonna be.
Right.
It's not a good thing. I mean, looking at my watching my kids,
Yeah.
they graduated,
It's a
they're working, they're
way bigger picture.
yeah. I mean, watching them, seeing them do things and being able to advise them
Yeah.
because of my career that I had
Yeah.
and where I was able to say, hey, look at this. These are some of the things you should be looking at, or this is what you want to do when you're, you're in charge, or
Yeah.
just being able to do that for them
Yeah.
or any of my
Family
friends
and
or
friends.
cousins or
Yeah.
family that I mean, to me that's success, that I'm
Yeah.
able to pass on whatever good information, whatever bad information, or being able to share these stories of when I did fail or when I had doubt about something,
Right.
being able to give them that, to let them know that like it's okay,
Yeah.
and if you got, and let them know that I'm always gonna be there for them, and then watching my wife succeed in her second, in her second career after retiring and enjoying and being able to assist her and reassure her that,
Yeah. Pump her up.
hey,
Yeah.
just keep doing what you do. It's all
Yeah.
good, So being able to, I guess, be there for folks, whether
Yeah.
it's family, friends, uh, is what I see as successful.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm living still, so
Yeah.
that's I feel successful.
Yeah. Made it this far.
With
Yeah.
that, I'm not out on the street. I'm not homeless. So
So you said it so correctly that it changes. So like success in young Tommie was solely focused on me.
But
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
winning.
Yeah,
You want to win. I mean, that's
100%.
that's what
Yep,
it's
yep.
because I feel like we come from that
Yeah,
same
cloth. Yeah,
mold
yeah,
where it's like I'm
yeah,
gonna be a winner. I
yep,
need to win. I need
yep.
to be.
And then the problem is you define what winning is,
Yeah.
and that cuts out a lot of people. Cuts out a lot of people. But it evolves over time, and your success, it becomes, and it's hard to believe for me to be able to say this, is you start to realize success is no longer related to you.
Mm.
You know, success is your family. Success is while you're in the
Mm.
military, your soldiers, your subordinates. You know, it's no longer, hey, I need this recognition, or I
Yeah.
need this whatever that, because once you make sergeant major, of course you still have a report card and you're still trying to get to that next level. But at the same time, it's less about you, man,
Yeah.
because you are no longer, you're not the gas pedal no more. You
Mm-mm.
know what I'm saying? You're 100% the car dealership.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, for real. I mean,
Yeah,
that's so true. It's like how can I mean? Because my whole thing was, how can I make others
yeah,
successful? How can
yeah,
I help others
yeah,
out? Because I'm there.
yeah,
I'm happy as all
yeah,
get out. So it's like I mean, the way that I felt was like I got this information
yeah,
that's in my head.
yeah,
I've had these experiences.
yeah.
Let me pass them on because all that can do is either make somebody better, which will make our
Everything better.
organization
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
So
You know what was my biggest? It started as a first art when I first put that diamond on. My biggest motivator, I wanted to make sure that everybody that left under my command
mm-hmm,
could go somewhere and be called competent, because I had suffered so many times, and we all have, to where the replacement is not good at all. You know what I'm saying? And so my whole goal was trying to, at a minimum, make sure that we had competent soldiers, and when they left, I felt good about them
mm-hmm,
going somewhere and plugging
yep,
in. And that's and I was never in a situation to get feedback from that consistently. So it was just energy focused down. It was never
mm-hmm,
focused on Sergeant Major Jones's soldiers are outstanding, or First Sergeant Jones. That was never, that's why I said I was completely taken out of what I thought success looked like at the end. So,
mm-hmm,
but no matter what you are doing, whether it be school, high school, whether it be college, whether it be your job, no matter what it is, the first step has to be buy-in. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
You have to buy into what you're doing so that you can give the energy to it that you need so that you can see what success looks like and then go get it.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? But if you join the Army and you're not bought in on the Army, you're not going to be successful in the Army.
No, it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, you may be able to do your 4-year tour and then get out without being, you know, set back because of something stupid you did in the military,
Mm-hmm,
and that is called success. But I'm talking about you have a career to where you achieved everything you possibly could because you were motivated to do that.
yep.
And the same thing in school. If you commit to your education and because you're in it now and give that energy to it, I promise you it'll be a whole lot more rewarding in the end.
Yeah, I think a lot of I think a lot of folks still treat failure like it's a scar.
Yeah.
But the truth is, those scars are proof that we tried, adapted, and grew stronger.
And in a lot of cases took chances.
Yep.
Educated chances, but still took chances.
Yep.
And that's okay. So you can't claim growth without bruises. You can't be a great boxer without getting hit in the face.
Nah,
You
some
know?
of them get knocked out.
Yeah.
And some of the greatest got knocked
Absolutely.
out. So,
Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it on the path
Yeah.
to success.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you once again for joining us for another conversation on four titles, one truth. We really appreciate y'all sticking with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we want to hear from you. What's a failure that ended up becoming one of your greatest lessons?
Yeah. And I can tell you, it was hard for me to think that way, but then you have to think about, because I didn't have any major cataclysmic failures, but that absolutely didn't mean I didn't fail at things.
No, I mean it's always there.
Yep.
I mean it's life. That's life.
So don't forget to check in with us on all of our social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
To the tube.
Yeah, we're also on LinkedIn, you know what I'm saying? Or watch us on YouTube at Four Titles, One Truth.
And join us next time, y'all, so that we can keep the conversation going.
There it is.
All right.
Voila.
That's all we want to do.